Good evening, Beaumont. Glad to be with you guys again. Well, here's some more winning for you. So far, more than 2.5 million illegal aliens left the United States during the Donald Trump administration. That's from January of this year, and this is a record-breaking achievement. The Department of Homeland Security said that on December 10th, the 2.5 million figure includes more than 605,000 illegal aliens that decided to voluntarily deport using the app. What are they calling that app? The CBP Home app, which allows them to notify the federal government of their intent to depart the United States willingly. And those who self-deport for using the app not only get $1,000 when they get there, but they also get a free airline flight home, which is a lot better than all the walking and stuff they had to do to get here in the first place. According to DHS, it has prioritized the removal of the worst criminal illegal aliens as part of the administration's push to ensure law and order in the country. Well, this rapid decline in the illegal alien population is already showing effects nationwide. There's a resurgence in local job markets, and the economy is improving. Wages are going up. President Trump recently commended Department of Homeland Security Kristi Noem, who's not only very astute, she's also very cute, for a closed, secure border. We have a border that's the best border in the history of our country, said Donald Trump. None of that would be possible, however, without the Homeland Security Advisory Council, Kristi Noem said. And these are the men and women who provide their experience and insights and have helped deliver so far 7 consecutive months of illegal aliens and those that are departing. The council provides the Department of Homeland Security with advice and recommendations from Homeland Security issues, and they include people from governments, academia, private sector, and first responder communities. Donald Trump's enforcement against illegal aliens has faced a lot of pushback from lawmakers, however, because, well, let's face it, there are still a lot of Marxists even in the Republican Party. John Cornyn comes to mind. These are people that hate everything that Donald Trump is doing, and they hate the very fact that we are indeed making America great again. So we kind of like what he's doing there. These individuals that they're trying to protect, however, are being referred to as dreamers, and they say, well, they have to pass security and law enforcement background checks and prove proficient in English and possession of a knowledge of American history. Well, as you know and I know, that'll make it impossible for most of the public school graduates because they're not only not proficient in English, they know nothing about history. But they went on to say they can't have committed any other felonies or serious crimes that could pose a threat to the United States. Well, that's going to be a problem, too, because let's face it, Democrat judges don't even charge these guys with crimes most of the time. And yesterday's show talked about the guy had been arrested 72 times, 50 violent felonies, and still walking around on our streets. They estimate there are nearly 2 million, quote, dreamers living here in the United States. Those are the children of the people that were brought here by illegal aliens. But I would like to remind you of this. You know, if a bank robber robs a bank and he gets caught, the children don't get to keep the loot, do they? Because it was all the product of a criminal lifestyle. Meanwhile, the Trump policy is continuing to be robust against this uncontrolled influx of illegal aliens. Back in November and October, they had 61,000 total encounters with illegal aliens by Border Patrol. But that's the lowest start to a fiscal year ever. Since Donald Trump took office, nationwide apprehensions have averaged less than 10,000 per month, which is a level of deterrence unmatched in modern Border Patrol history. Remember, during the Biden Autopen administration, they had as many as 10,000 illegal aliens a day coming across the border because the goal was to bring all of these people in, give them driver's licenses, social security numbers, and make sure that they were registered to vote so they would vote Democrat in every election. Well, for the 7th consecutive month, U.S. Border Patrol has released 0 illegal aliens into the United States. Every individual was apprehended and processed according to law, and this is a milestone that's never happened in modern Border Patrol history. Once again, I'd remind you, what we absolutely need to do and I mean we absolutely need to do this, is we need to have a total moratorium on immigration for 5 years. No one legal, no one illegal comes into the country for 5 years. This will allow Americans to have good jobs. This will lower the cost of housing while increasing wages in America. And remember, when you hire an American to do a job, that money stays in America and does good in America. These illegal aliens for years have been sending most of what they made, in some cases up to 80% of what they were making here, was going back to other countries that hate America. And those dollars never came back. They just never came back. And so I think it's really important that we continue along these lines. The media continues to whitewash what's going on here every day. But according to DHS, 70% of immigration and customs enforcement are simply arresting the illegal aliens who are criminals here. Members of Tren de Aragua, members of the other drug cartels that are out there. The point is, this needs to stop, and Donald Trump is putting a stop to it, and I personally am happy about that. But then we got the issue with the Home Depots. What is this? These stupid tools, many of whom are getting paid to some degree, are going to Home Depot with signs that have been made by somebody and given to them, and they're protesting Home Depot because they don't like the fact that so many illegal aliens have been arrested at Home Depot. Well, we have to understand, first of all, Home Depot has no idea when these raids are going to occur. That's number one. Number two, Home Depot has long been a location where illegal aliens could find cash work. And I know from personal experience that those illegal aliens are pretty savvy. They won't go out with anyone unless you're going to pay them at least $100 and buy them a Big Mac. That is a requirement. So you also have to provide any sort of tools or protection like gloves and things like that that they might also need, as well as they expect to get lots of cold water in the bottle delivered to them while they're at work. So these legal aliens have been doing pretty well for themselves, and Home Depot has operated pretty much as a hub for that. Well, why protest Home Depot then? Because Home Depot has nothing to do with this. Well, what I've discovered is that these are all being paid for by Marxist, anti-American organizations, and they just want to simply put Home Depot out of business. They don't care about the jobs of the people that work at Home Depot legitimately, literally tens of thousands of people who work for Home Depot. They just want to shut Home Depot down. And after Home Depot goes, then they're going to go after Lowe's. My point is, these evil anti-American Marxists are in existence everywhere. Never, ever vote for a Democrat under any circumstances. I'm just telling you that. Because while it's true that not all criminals are Democrats, there's no question that all Democrats are criminals. Democrats have never met a baby they didn't want to kill. Democrats have never met a criminal they didn't fall in love with. Doesn't matter if they're setting fire to young girls on trains. Doesn't matter if they're raping, robbing, and pillaging. Up in Minneapolis, let us not forget the Somalian youths that ran through the town with hammers, beating, that fortunately didn't kill anybody, but they severely injured a number of people. And now the illegal aliens, these Somalians, are telling you that they're here to stay. This is their country. They helped build this country. Well, I think we all know better than that. You're not going to believe this. There are some Somalians out there that are saying Abraham Lincoln was a Somalian. Ladies and gentlemen, it's nuts. You know what's right. And speaking of things being right, Joy Reid is back. That's right. And she's more insane than ever. In a holiday special from the canceled former MSDNC host, Joy Reid, otherwise known as Bullethead, reposted a bizarre theory that Jingle Bells is a racist song. According to a report from the New York Post, Miss Reid shared video with her 1.3 million followers on Instagram, and it begins with Khalil Greene, a creator with pronouns in his bio and a mission to expose historical injustice, in front of the plaque in Massachusetts where James Lord Pierpoint is purported to have composed the song back in 1850. This is where a racist Confederate soldier wrote Jingle Bells to make fun of black people And it has its origins in a bigoted minstrel show because those were very popular back in the day. The video goes on to claim that Pierpoint, whose nephew grew up to be the legendary financier J.P. Morgan, was hard up for cash when he composed the one-horse open sleigh and did so expressly for use in performances in which actors would wear blackface to mock and caricature black people trying to participate in winter activities. It alleges that the lyrics "Laughing All the Way" in the song is likely a reference to racist comedic routines of the day known as the Laughing Darky. Pierpoint patented the song in 1859 and changed its name to the familiar Jingle Bells before the start of the Civil War, at which point the video claims that he abandoned his family to join the Confederate Army and wrote Southern fight songs in order to rouse men defending slavery. This claim, such evidence as may exist for it, mostly comes from a 2017 paper written by a Boston University professor in which it asserted the best evidence for the song's origin was indeed quite hazy, and it may have been performed in a minstrel show. Whether or not this is accurate is anyone's guess because we really don't know. But they note that both Medford, Massachusetts and Savannah, Georgia still claim to be where the song was written. So this complicates any narrative as to the actual context of its composition. To the extent that this may or may not be true, the rest of the Instagram video is cheerful revisionism dressed up as serious thought. Let's not pretend this is an outlier for Joy Reid either. This is a woman whose tenure on MSNBC was marred by many controversies of the racial kind, and those included up until after she was dismissed from the network that would soon be known as UMS Now for low ratings and a high price tag. Fellow host Rachel Madcow used the occasion to imply that the decision to dismiss her colleague was completely racist. The 57-year-old Reid has been hosting her show on YouTube, where some episodes get nearly 10,000 views, depending on whether or not she has a guest worth watching or not. Last week, she did Ilhan Omar, and she got over 114,000 views, but most of those were Somalians. Now she's back to amplifying a dubious influencer theory that Jingle Bells is racist. Well, the good news is it won't reach too many ears because nobody's really watching her. So if you needed a holiday card from a former host to inform you that she's still every bit as crazy as she ever was, well, now you have one.